A Southwest Florida exhibit is now open underwater, an art gallery attached to the USS Mohawk. Remember this scene? Last July, the World War II era ship sank 28 miles from Sanibel Island. Weekend, NBC2 traveled with a team of divers as they placed pieces of art on the artificial reef. Sad Oliver shows us how.
5 miles off redfish.
Well, we're taking various people, divers and reporters and that out to a vessel called the Mohawk.
Most divers go into the Gulf of Mexico to see beauty already there.
It was a World War II ship, a lot of history behind it.
Few add to it.
We're going to install art on the side of the ship.
Out there, right? It is a mission 30 miles from shore and decades in the making. 75 divers.
Oh no, you should get in the water. It's beautiful.
And one photographer bringing the worlds together.
I'm a photographer as well as a diver.
Andreas Frank first photographed the USS Mohawk 2 weeks after it sunk.
Every shipwreck has its own history.
This Austrian superimposed images on those photographs. Models dressed as they would have looked during the war years.
My main job is to find the right place for each image.
Each work is encased in steel-framed plexiglass. The crystal blue water gives a clear view of the Coast Guard cutter.
A lot of fish down there. It's just a beautiful dive.
Divers use magnets to attach the art to the Mohawk.
It's a little bit slower going than I thought. Takes a while, I think, to get them just right.
Andreas leads the effort, happening 90 feet below the surface.
He stood back and leveled them and made sure they were perfect and gave us a thumbs up and said, let's go to the next one.
By the end of the day, 12 pieces are in place.
Go wreck diving, bring both things together, diving and photography, and this couldn't be better.
It is the third underwater project for an artist who's not worried about theft.
Each magnet holds 120 pounds, and we have 5 on it, so one person can't remove this anyhow.
His images recreate what sailors might have done in their downtime and what they dreamed about.
That's the reason there are girls as well there. They are very lonely, maybe.
It was really, really sweet. Just the wreck, never mind the artwork.
The Mohawk has a heroic history. The crew survived Nazi U-boats, rescued survivors of torpedo attacks, and was the last ship to radio General Dwight D. Eisenhower that the weather was clearing for the D-Day invasion.
For me, it's like a stage, and I bring life back to the shipwreck.
Frank's art will remain underwater for 4 months. Whatever grows on the glass is up to nature.
I love what the sea is doing to the picture.
In October, the images will go on display at Alliance for the Arts in Fort Myers.
It's going to be like Christmas. It'll be opening a present, to see how all of that has really affected it.
A new take on art and history.
We hang this in a gallery, so everybody can see this, not only divers.
Chad Oliver, NBC2 News.
Back on land, an underwater art exhibit, unlike anything Southwest Florida has ever seen, was brought back to the surface over the weekend.
The portraits adorn the sunken USS Mohawk nearly 30 miles off the Gulf Coast for 4 months. And tonight, NBC2's Joe Gross takes us through the painstaking process of recovering the artwork.
Brad, you on 6-8? Roger that. I'm here.
It's a perfect sunrise to guide a mission into the Gulf.
Just to the port side of the Mohawk.
And as perfect a straight line as you can get out in choppy water.
Roger, good copy. On rapid zigzag.
After more than an hour, dozens of underwater divers arrive at the grave of the USS Mohawk. A scuttled Coast Guard cutter still serving missions from its watery resting place.
I think he wanted you amidship.
One by one, divers slide below the surface, sinking nearly 90 feet into the murky water.
Not real good today. Visibility is about 30 feet. It's kind of dark. It's a little overcast.
On the surface, Brad Martin is ready and waiting.
They're all going to come one at a time, but they're going to come really fast.
Artwork memorializing a different era, now created to look the part.
The sea is doing it. I have no influence, and that's good like it is.
Below, crews quickly work in jellyfish-infested water, grabbing the detailed portraits from the side of the ship. Strong magnets held the images to the Mohawk since May, but in time, Mother Nature took hold.
Then the last 4 weeks, it changed.
The Gulf's harsh water rusted out screws, sending pictures sinking and divers searching.
Well, the good news is it's all still here.
Once found, they're brought to the bow and then sent up one by one.
Just don't drop it. We need a bigger boat.
Above, Martin and his team worked feverishly,
Okay, good.
placing a dozen delicate pictures into a custom-made wooden crate.
We put some thought into this thing.
Covered with winged oysters, scallops, and a coating of algae, the work comes at a price.
I just took an urchin.
Every little bit of life is part of artist Andreas Franke's sinking world.
You have maybe a favorite one before you bring them down, but afterwards, when you have them in front of you with all the growth on it, it may change dramatically.
I think it's very innovative. I mean, it's, you know, I wish I had thought of it.
In a matter of minutes, they're up, sealed tight, and safe.
We have them all. We'll get them strapped down, locked down, and they'll be safe and sound.
Very good.
Ah, here they are.
Each one of these pieces of art weighs about 30 pounds, and now that they've been brought back to the surface, they'll be sealed with the sea life on it and then sold.
Strapped in and secure,
It's a little bumpy out here today, and it's going to be a pretty rough ride in.
these portraits head back to land for Southwest Florida to see.
They're all here. They're all secure.
Andreas's work goes for a premium price, $12,000 to $15,000 a piece. It might be out of our price range, but you can check them out beginning Friday, October 4th at the Alliance of the Arts on McGregor Boulevard. You'll find more information on that at our website, nbc-2.com. We're live in the studio. Joe Rote, NBC2.
These pieces of underwater art are ready to go on display in Lee County. Earlier this month, NBC2 went 28 miles out into the Gulf as divers brought the art to the surface. The artist used a sunken World War II ship, the Mohawk, as his studio. Well, NBC2 Chad Oliver was there today for the final step to lock in what nature helped create.
There are typical jobs for McGregor Auto Body. Then there are days like today.
We've done a lot of weird things. This is definitely probably one of the strangest.
Artwork that's been drying for 3 weeks in preparation for this.
How come you didn't bring coffee and donuts this morning? It's going to make a nice clean surface. That way it locks it in. We're just going to lock in what we have.
Yeah, no, that'd be perfect.
Tiny marine organisms grew on the plexiglass while the art was underwater.
We're talking about algae and the beginnings of barnacles, oysters.
Mike Campbell is making sure the final clear coat goes on as planned.
If we put a gloss on there that makes it look brand new or hide some of the details that were created while it was underwater, then we're reversing the process, and I don't want to do that.
This is the same type of clear coat that's used on vehicles. The idea isn't to change the look of the art, but to preserve what nature created underwater. The images came from a dive to the USS Mohawk by Austrian photographer Andreas Franke.
Actually, hanging it on a ship was just an ingenious idea.
Along with the Gulf's natural beauty, Franke added images of models dressed in clothing from World War II when the Mohawk launched 14 attacks on German U-boats, a history that's becoming more widely known thanks to the art attached to it.
The sea is doing it. I have no influence, and that's good like it is.
I call Andreas every day, 2 times a day.
4 months in the Gulf shaped what you see today. Water seeped in and created bright colors around the edges.
Once it did, thought, hey, that looks amazing. The drying time will take probably a day and a half. It looks good. It looks good. All the colors were preserved.
A final step before the public sees the finished product.
It just brings a group of people together that normally wouldn't be together thinking about the same things. And that's truly unique. It's going to last forever. I mean, it's going to last for a long, long, long time.
In Fort Myers, Chad Oliver, NBC2 News.
An underwater art exhibit is now on display on land. Tonight, the Alliance for the Arts in Fort Myers held a gallery opening for the project. It's gained worldwide attention. It's called The Sinking World, the Mohawk Project. Divers placed the art underwater for 4 months at the USS Mohawk wreck off Sanibel. The final product is the combined work of the artist and nature.
It's not only my photography, it's the 4 months where I had no influence. And the sea changed my artwork.
Tomorrow morning, the artist will host a gallery walk to answer questions about the project that starts at 10 o'clock. The gallery runs through October 28th.